I never expected to be the kind of guy who gets blindsided by his own family, but looking back, I probably should have seen it coming. My name's Alex. I'm 28 years old. I work in tech. Nothing fancy, but it pays the bills and lets me take my girlfriend out without checking the bank app every time we order dessert. I've always been the low-maintenance one in my family, the easy kid, as my mom used to put it. The one who didn't cause drama, didn't ask for much, didn't need rescuing or special treatment. That role used to feel like a compliment. Now I know it was just code for the one we can ignore. My sister, Jenna, is 2 years younger than me, but you'd think she was the star of the universe. Blonde, loud, Instagram famous for nothing. One of those people who makes every family gathering revolve around her latest brand collaboration or how her boyfriend-turned-fiancé Tyler just totally vibes with their couples therapist. Yeah, couples therapy before the wedding. Red flags? A parade of them. But try telling that to my parents. They treat Jenna like royalty. Everything she touches gets framed and hung on the fridge. Meanwhile, I once got promoted at work and my mom thought I was finally moving up from that app thing I do. Despite all that, I've kept my distance without burning bridges. I show up for the big stuff. Birthdays, holidays, the occasional family dinner where Jenna holds court while I sip my drink and pray for early dessert. It's not that I hate her. I just don't trust her. There's a difference. Jenna's the kind of person who gives you a gift with one hand and a camera in the other so she can post your reaction on TikTok. Everything's a performance, including family. A few months ago, she got engaged to Tyler during a wine tasting trip in Napa that she made sure we all knew about via her 24/7 Instagram story. I found out through a group text that included a champagne emoji, a boomerang of the ring, and the caption, "He finally put a ring on it." Hashtag wifey vibes, hashtag Ty and Jen forever. My mom followed up with a personal text a day later that said, "Aren't you so happy for your sister?" No question mark. Just an expectation. Of course I said congrats. Of course I double-tapped the ring photo. Of course I RSVP'd yes to the engagement dinner, even though I already knew it was going to be some over-the-top event with mason jar centerpieces and forced speeches. My girlfriend, Emily, was the one who pushed me to go. She's thoughtful like that. Quiet, kind, but sharp as a tack. She sees things. Sometimes before I do. It's just one night. She said while we were brushing our teeth the morning of. You show your face, smile for the photos, and then we go get ice cream after. That's the kind of partner she is. She makes everything feel manageable, even when my family's being, well, themselves. The dinner was at this rooftop venue downtown. One of those trendy places where they hang Edison bulbs over everything and serve $25 cocktails with flower petals floating on top. The kind of place Jenna would have tagged months in advance to manifest her vision board. We showed up 5 minutes early because that's how Emily rolls, and the moment we stepped into the reception area, I felt it. That shift. Like walking into a party where the music skips just long enough for you to realize you weren't actually invited. There was a long white table near the back, dressed up with candles and little gold place cards in Jenna's loopy handwriting. Each card had a name in cursive, Mom, Dad, Uncle Mark, Aunt Linda, even some names I didn't recognize. Tyler's side, I guessed. I scanned the row once. Then again. Emily looked too. Nothing. No card for us, she asked, gently, like maybe we just missed it. I gave her a tight-lipped smile and tried not to let the heat rise to my face. I knew how this would look. The quiet brother making a scene over a name tag. I glanced around and caught Jenna walking toward us, arm linked with Tyler's, her other hand holding a glass of something fizzy and pink. Her dress was sparkly, her heels too high for anyone but her, and she looked like she was floating above the rest of us mortals. "Alex," she said, like she was surprised to see me. Then she laughed. "Didn't think you'd actually show up." I forced a smile. "Why wouldn't I?" She shrugged, tossing her hair back. "You're always so busy with your little computer job. Plus, you're not really the dinner party type." Then she turned to Emily and gave her that fake hug people do when they're worried about getting makeup on their dress. "You look so cute. Love the dress." Zara. Emily just smiled, calm as ever. "Thanks." "Yeah." Jenna waved her drink vaguely in the direction of the bar. "There's some open seating over there. It's more casual, but you can totally hang there. Dinner should be starting soon." And just like that, she flitted off. Like she hadn't just told me, her own brother, that there wasn't a seat for me at her engagement dinner. Emily, and I made our way to the bar area where a few cocktail tables stood like afterthoughts. I sat down on a stool, suddenly aware of how out of place I felt in my blazer. Emily didn't say anything. She just rubbed my knee under the table and gave me a look that said she saw it too. The pettiness. The dismissal. I tried to shake it off. I told myself it didn't matter. I wasn't here for validation. I was here to support my sister, even if she barely acknowledged me as part of her guest list. I sipped my overpriced whiskey and made small talk with Emily while speeches started at the main table, ones I wasn't asked to give or stand for. Dad toasted with tears in his eyes. Mom beamed like she'd birthed a queen, and Jenna sat in the center like it was her coronation. Occasionally someone would glance our way, probably wondering who the guy in the corner was and why he looked like he was watching a play he didn't audition for. Dinner came and went. Plates of overpriced tapas were passed around, followed by mini desserts served on slates like it was a cooking show. We got some cold leftovers eventually, dropped off by a sympathetic server who whispered, "Sorry about the delay," like we were backstage staff, not blood relatives. I kept waiting for Jenna to come over again, to offer some half-hearted apology or make room at the table. But she didn't. Not once. Then came the final act. The check. A waiter in a black apron walked toward our table, holding a small leather folder. He paused in front of me with a polite smile. "Sir, the bill," he said, handing it to me like it was a given. I blinked. "I'm sorry." He hesitated. "The hostess said you'd be handling it." Before I could respond, Emily leaned forward, her voice soft but cutting. "We're not even on the guest list," she said with a smile. "Try the bride." And in that moment, the waiter's eyes flicked from me to her and back again, registering the absurdity of it all. He gave a quick nod and walked away, leaving me stunned, my hand still hovering where the check had been. I looked at Emily. She just raised her eyebrows and took another sip of her drink. And that's when something in me shifted. Something quiet, but final. It wasn't about the money. It was never about the money. It was about being invisible in a room full of people who were supposed to see me. About being used as a prop in a party I was never really welcome at. About realizing that sometimes family stops being a place you belong and starts being a stage you're expected to clap for. I didn't say anything to Jenna that night, but I started making plans. You could say that's when the revenge really began. The next morning, I woke up with that hollow feeling you get after a long night of pretending nothing bothered you. Emily and I had gone out for pancakes after the dinner, a quiet rebellion against a night that made us both feel like extras in someone else's movie. She didn't say much at first, just kept squeezing my hand across the table while I picked at my food. But somewhere between the second cup of coffee and the syrup hitting the plate, she finally said it. "You know this isn't normal, right?" I looked up. "What isn't?" "The way they treat you." I wanted to argue. I wanted to tell her that families are weird and complicated, and that Jenna is just being Jenna, that it wasn't personal, that I didn't care. But the words got stuck in my throat because, for once, I couldn't lie to myself. I did care. It was personal. And deep down, I'd known for years that I was always going to be the placeholder in my own family, the one they could forget about without consequence. That day, I didn't answer any texts. There were a few in the family group chat, photos from the dinner, gushing captions, and of course, a video of Jenna and Tyler kissing while everyone clapped like they'd just watched a royal wedding. I watched it once, closed the app, and turned off notifications. I wish I could say that was the turning point, that I cut them off then and there and moved on. But that's not how real life works, is it? You don't just wake up one day and burn every bridge. You try again. You hope something will change. And every time, you get reminded that it won't. Over the next few weeks, the engagement train kept chugging along. Jenna sent out save the date cards that looked like magazine covers. Her and Tyler holding hands on a beach at golden hour, all teeth and sunshine. Mine came 2 weeks late, bent at the corner like it had been tossed around a mail truck. It didn't even have my name on the envelope, just Alex plus guest scribbled in pen. When I asked my mom about it, she laughed like it was no big deal. "Oh honey, you know how Jenna is. She must have mixed up the envelopes. Don't be so sensitive." Right. Sensitive. That word always follows me around in this family like a bad smell. Jenna can throw tantrums in restaurants, guilt trip our parents into paying her rent for 6 months, and post passive-aggressive quotes about cutting out toxic people when someone disagrees with her, but I'm the sensitive one. I kept my distance after that. Still replied to texts when necessary, still sent a birthday gift when Dad turned 60, still showed up to my niece's piano recital because I promised her I would. But I stopped engaging in the family fantasy. No more pretending I was part of the inner circle. No more asking for a seat at a table where I was clearly just the backup chair. Emily, bless her, never pushed. She just watched. Watched me grit my teeth through awkward phone calls. Watched my face go tight when my mom bragged about Jenna's influencer success while calling my job tech stuff. Watched me slowly pull away without making a scene. She knew better than anyone that I wasn't ready yet. Not for what I was really feeling. Then came the bridal shower. This was supposed to be girls only, but Jenna wanted a modern co-ed twist, which meant dragging the men in for photo ops and gift unwrapping. Emily was invited, of course, sent a special box in the mail with gold tissue paper and a bride squad candle. Mine was an afterthought again. A text from Jenna. Hey, you can come to the shower if you want. Bring something cute for the registry. I didn't want to go. Emily knew it. But again, she gently nudged me. You'll feel better if you're the bigger person, she said. Just once more. So we went. The shower was held at a vineyard Jenna had collabed with. Apparently, they were giving her a discount in exchange for her posting about it. When we arrived, there were framed signs with hashtags like hashtag Jen gets her tie and a Polaroid station where guests could write messages to the couple. It felt more like a marketing event than a family celebration. I kept to myself, sipping bad sangria and nodding through small talk with Tyler's friends. Emily was roped into a bride tribe trivia game while I stood in a corner, watching Jenna open presents like she was unboxing luxury hauls on YouTube. That's when I overheard it. I hadn't meant to eavesdrop. But Jenna's voice carries, especially when she's trying to impress. She was talking to one of her bridesmaids, laughing loudly over a stack of gift bags. Alex is so awkward, she said, not even bothering to lower her voice. He's like a background character in his own life. I seriously didn't think he'd show up again. Emily must have dragged him. The bridesmaid giggled. He's cute though. Quiet cute. Jenna scoffed. Please. He's like Target brand Tyler. I froze. Something in me clenched so tightly I had to set down my drink. Emily returned a few minutes later, flushed from whatever game they'd played. One look at my face and her smile faded. What happened? Nothing, I said. Let's go. I didn't explain it in the car. Not then. I needed time to process how angry I was. Not just at Jenna, but at myself. For showing up. Again. For letting them do it. Again. For letting my own sister reduce me to a punchline in front of strangers. That night, I finally told Emily everything. Every moment I'd buried, every slight I'd shrugged off, every time I played the easy brother so they wouldn't think I was too emotional. She listened, really listened. And when I was done, she said the one thing I needed to hear. You don't have to keep letting them hurt you just because they share your last name. I didn't sleep much that night. My head was too full. Something was building. A weight I'd been carrying my whole life was finally shifting. I wasn't just angry anymore. I was done. But life has a way of pushing you even further, just when you think you've hit your limit. The next weekend, I got a call from my mom. Not unusual, but the tone was different. Hesitant. Like she was trying to ease into something. Sweetheart, she started. Jenna had a little idea, and I told her I'd run it by you first. I braced myself. Okay. She was thinking, for the wedding, it might be nice if you helped out with some of the costs. I blinked. Costs? You know, just a bit of support. It's such a big event, and with everything going on, she and Tyler could use a hand. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You want me to pay for their wedding? No, not pay, she said quickly. Just help. Maybe sponsor something? Like the photographer or the bar tab. You know, make it special. I stared at the ceiling, trying to keep my voice level. Mom, I wasn't even on the guest list at the engagement dinner. Jenna didn't save me a seat. Oh, don't be dramatic. She gave me the check, Mom. There was a pause. A long one. You always take things so personally, she said finally. She's your sister. No apology. No acknowledgement. Just that same guilt-drenched loop I'd heard my whole life. Family means forgiveness. Family means sacrifice. Family means swallowing your pride so the golden child can shine uninterrupted. I ended the call soon after. Told her I'd think about it. But I already knew the answer. The breaking point came 3 days later. I was working late when I got a ping from Emily. Just a link. No message. It was Jenna's newest Instagram post. A sponsored reel for some wedding planner service. I watched it, jaw tightening with every second. There she was, posing in a white dress at the venue, twirling under chandeliers and mouthing words to some trending audio. The caption read, "Can't wait to marry the love of my life at the dream venue. Shout out to my amazing brother Alex for making this possible." I stared at the screen. I hadn't given her a cent. She'd lied. Publicly. Bragged about me funding her venue so she could score a brand deal. Used my name for clout. For profit. I didn't even call her. I didn't text. I just stood there, letting the weight of every buried insult crash down at once. And for the first time in my life, I didn't push it away. I didn't forgive. I didn't forget. Because I knew exactly what I had to do next. After that Instagram post, I logged off for 3 days. No texts. No email. No social media. I put my phone in a drawer and left it there like it was something toxic. Emily kept checking in, never hovering, just present. She'd make us tea, sit beside me, touch my hand now and then without saying much. She understood something I hadn't even said out loud yet, that I wasn't just humiliated. I was done. Not in a performative, dramatic way. I wasn't storming off or burning bridges in public. It was quieter than that. Like a rope finally snapping after being pulled too tight for too long. I'd spent my entire adult life playing the role of the understanding brother. The polite son. The quiet seat filler. The guy who didn't want to make waves. But now I was sinking. And the strangest part? I didn't want anyone from my family to pull me out. When I finally picked my phone back up, I had 17 missed calls. 9 were from my mom. 4 from my dad. The rest were from random numbers, probably Jenna's friends, or people trying to clarify the venue funding lie before it spiraled further. There were group chat messages too. Screenshots of Jenna's post, people tagging me, some even thanking me. Wow, such a generous brother. You really came through for the bride and groom. Respect, man. I stared at them like they were written in another language. There was no apology from Jenna. No correction. No. Hey, sorry I posted that. I just needed to make it look good for the sponsor. Just a private message, one single line. It's just PR, don't overreact. I didn't respond. Because it wasn't just PR. It was my name. My time. My respect. My integrity. And it wasn't just that one moment. It was the years before it. The Christmas when I gave her the laptop she needed for school, only to see her selling it online 2 weeks later. The Thanksgiving where she told her friends I was between jobs, even though I'd just been promoted. The birthdays she skipped. The lies she told. The way she always managed to rewrite the script so she came out the star and I came out the supporting cast. Emily said something to me that night that stuck. You can't change who they are, but you can stop giving them the microphone. So I started with silence. No texts. No explanations. I removed myself from the group chat. I muted my sister's account. I even blocked a few of her friends who kept tagging me in wedding-related posts. And for a while, it was quiet. Uncomfortably quiet. It felt like exile at first. Like I was punishing myself by stepping back. But over time, that silence started to feel like peace. I started doing something I hadn't done in years. I made time for myself. For real, uninterrupted time. No phone. No family drama. Just space. I'd wake up early and walk to the coffee shop with Emily, even if I wasn't working that day. I started reading again, stuff I'd been meaning to get to for years. I picked up a journal and started writing, not just venting, but tracking. Goals. Habits. Boundaries. I didn't know where it would all lead, but I needed something to rebuild on. My work life improved first. Funny how cutting out emotional noise creates mental clarity. I started finishing tasks faster, asking for more responsibility. My manager noticed. So did the director. I pitched a new feature during a team brainstorm that ended up becoming a full-blown project, and 2 months later, I was leading it. Quietly. Confidently. I didn't tell my parents. Didn't post about it. I let it be mine. Around the same time, Emily and I decided to take a weekend trip. Just the two of us. No checking phones. No sharing photos. We went upstate. Stayed in this quiet cabin Airbnb with huge windows and nothing but trees and sky. We hiked, cooked meals together, talked about real stuff, life, dreams, what we wanted. Not what we were running from, but what we were building toward. That trip was when I realized how much I'd been shrinking to fit in places I'd already outgrown. I'd let my family define my worth for so long that I forgot I had permission to live outside their script. I wasn't the quiet brother. I wasn't the background character. I was someone who mattered, even if they never saw it. When we came back from that trip, something shifted. I stopped waiting for things to change. I started changing them myself. I created a separate email for all family correspondence. That way I could filter it and decide when I wanted to engage. I unlinked my work info from my personal socials. I even told Emily I wanted to move, just a little farther out of the city, to a place with more space. She lit up. We started looking at rentals the next week. Meanwhile, the wedding planning rolled on without me. No updates. No, hey, can you help with this? Not even a courtesy invite to the next family brunch. They didn't notice I was gone. Or if they did, they didn't care enough to say it. I saw bits and pieces online. Jenna's bachelorette trip in Tulum. Her surprise bridal photo shoot at the venue. A clip of her trying on dresses, crying, surrounded by friends and, of course, Mom. I wasn't in any of it. And for the first time, that absence didn't sting. It felt like freedom. Until one night in early May, when everything cracked open again. Emily and I had just finished dinner when I got a voicemail from my dad. Not my mom. Dad. That alone was weird. He's not the emotional type. But his voice was shaky. Too quiet. Alex, listen, I know things have been rocky. But we need to talk. About the wedding. Something's happened. Call me. I froze. Emily paused mid-sip. What is it? I played the message for her. She frowned. Think it's real or another manipulation? Only one way to find out. I muttered. I called him back. He picked up on the first ring. Hey, buddy, he said, like we'd just spoken yesterday. Thanks for calling. Listen, I don't want to drag you into anything, but Jen is kind of in a bind right now. What kind of bind? He exhaled hard. The venue fell through. I blinked. What? The contract was fake. Or, not fake, but not real either. She posted about it for a brand deal before actually booking it. They thought she was confirmed because she tagged them and sent some emails, but she never paid the deposit. Now they're booked solid and she has nowhere to hold the wedding. I didn't say anything. She's freaking out, he continued. Your mom's trying to calm her down, but it's bad. She's talking about postponing the whole thing. A pause. Then the real reason for the call. She thinks maybe you could help. You're organized. You work in that tech stuff. You could probably find a solution. Maybe talk to someone. We need to pull together right now, Alex. And there it was. The audacity. The entitlement. The same pattern, resurrected like clockwork. They cut me out. They ignored me. They let Jenna drag my name through the mud for a sponsorship. And now that her fantasy was crumbling, they suddenly remembered I existed. That I was dependable. That I didn't cause drama. That I could be used. Again, I didn't answer right away. Emily was watching me closely. She didn't say a word. She didn't need to. Because we both knew. They hadn't learned a thing. And maybe it was finally time to teach them. I didn't say no. Not right away. I think that's what caught my dad off guard. He expected me to shut him down the moment he asked me to help, especially after what happened. And I probably would have, a few months ago. But I'd learned something over the past few weeks. Silence doesn't always mean surrender. Sometimes it's strategy. So I just said, let me think about it. And he bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. Over the next few days, I started getting texts again. From Mom. From Jenna. Even from Tyler, which was new. They all had the same tone. Desperate, overly sweet, and full of fake gratitude. Mom. Hey, sweetheart. I know we've had our differences, but your sister really needs you. She's so stressed. Please think about it. Jenna. Hey, can we talk? I know things got messy, but you're still my big brother. I miss you. Tyler. Yo, man. Respect if you can help. Jenna's having a meltdown. She trusts you. It was like watching a group of people realize the bridge they burned was the only way back across the canyon, and suddenly trying to glue it back together with compliments and emojis. But I didn't respond. Not yet. Instead, I started researching. I pulled up every venue within a 200-mile radius that could possibly accommodate a wedding of Jenna's size in less than 3 months. Spoiler alert, there weren't many. Not ones with her standards, anyway. She wanted chandeliers and marble floors and arched windows for the photos. She wanted elegance, a fairy tale vibe, and a strong Instagram aesthetic. What she was facing now was more like a backyard potluck with folding chairs. That's when I realized something important. Jenna didn't care about getting married. She cared about looking married. About the event. The optics. The image. Her real wedding was already the one she'd curated online. Posts, hashtags, brand deals, partnerships. The ceremony itself? That was just the finale. The last episode in the Jenna show. If that didn't go perfectly, the whole thing fell apart. And that was my opportunity. So I made a call. There's this guy I know, Marcus, used to date Emily's best friend. He's one of those absurdly connected people who can get things done with a phone call and a smile. Wedding planner, venue manager, event fixer, something like that. We'd only met twice, but he remembered me. Alex, what's up, man? You finally proposing? I laughed. Not exactly. I explained the situation. Well, most of it. I told him about my sister's venue falling through, how she was scrambling for a replacement, and how I was thinking of helping her out. You got anything last minute? He paused. Honestly, everything's packed this season, especially with everyone catching up on events post-COVID. I've got like 2 weekends open at weird times. Weird how? Friday afternoons. Or Sundays at noon. Not exactly prime time. I nodded. Any places that look good in pictures? Doesn't need to be functional. Just photogenic. He paused again, longer this time. I might have something. He told me about this spot about an hour outside the city. A massive, stunning estate-turned venue that hadn't officially opened yet. Still in renovations, but photogenic as hell. Ivy walls. Grand staircase. An old conservatory with glass ceilings. The owner was taking inquiries for future bookings, but they weren't accepting any for this season. No way she'll get it, Marcus said. But if you say she has it. I smiled. That's all I needed. Next, I called my cousin Jake. Jake's a photographer. Good one too. Does weddings, concerts, proposals, even some commercial gigs. He's also been ignored by our side of the family since he came out 5 years ago, Jenna especially. She once told him he shouldn't make everything about being gay. At his own birthday party. I hadn't talked to him in a while, but when I explained what I was doing, he laughed so hard I thought he was choking. You want me to help sabotage Jenna's wedding? Think of it as art direction. He was in. Emily helped too, of course. She didn't ask for details. She just saw the look in my eye and knew I wasn't out for petty revenge. This wasn't about humiliating Jenna for sport. It was about breaking the pattern. Finally flipping the script they'd written for me since we were kids. We spent hours planning, outlining the pieces, the timing, the contingencies. I made spreadsheets. I created burner email accounts. I reached out to vendors and ghost reserved things in Jenna's name. Enough to make her believe she had options, but not enough to actually secure anything. I fed her leads through fake referrals. I made mistakes in forwarding confirmation emails. And she ate it up. Once I finally replied to her text, she was all gratitude and humility. At least on the surface. You're seriously a lifesaver, Alex. I don't know why we ever stopped talking. That one almost made me laugh. She didn't miss me. She missed the utility I provided. The reliability. The thing she could count on when everything else got too chaotic. So I gave it to her. I found her the perfect venue. I sent her photos of the estate Marcus had shown me. Empty, pristine, untouched. I told her I had a connection that could squeeze her in. I even mocked up a fake reservation email and added a PDF that looked like an invoice, with just enough real-sounding jargon to pass as legitimate. She didn't ask questions. She posted it that night. Another reel. More hashtags. So grateful to my big brother Alex for saving the day. We got our dream venue after all. I watched it with Emily over dinner, sipping wine and letting the irony wash over me. She leaned in. You're scaring me. I smiled. Good. A week later, Jenna asked me if I could help with the photographer too. I said of course. Then I sent her Jake's portfolio, under a fake name. Told her he was new in the scene, but hungry and talented. She fell in love with his photos immediately. Said they were ethereal. Said he captured authentic magic. She had no idea it was the cousin she once uninvited from her birthday brunch because he might make grandma uncomfortable. He agreed to do it. No hesitation. The plan was coming together. Then came the final piece, the gift registry. Jenna had gone overboard with hers. Items she didn't need, overpriced appliances, cash fund, links for a honeymoon in Bora Bora. Tyler even added a PS5 and some designer sneakers. She posted it in the family group chat with a cutesy message. In case you're feeling generous. My parents donated $2,000 to the honeymoon fund. Meanwhile, Emily and I created a second registry under Jenna's name. Same website. Same couple. But instead of luxury items, we filled it with stuff that looked normal at first glance, but got increasingly weird the deeper you scrolled. A gold-plated garlic press. A dog tuxedo, they don't have a dog. a $400 emotional support cactus, a set of matching adult-sized bibs, a personalized cutting board that said Tyler's Meat Zone. Then, at the very bottom, a framed photo of me. The caption read, "Because none of this would be possible without Alex." We set it to public and let it circulate. It took less than 48 hours for the posts to start trickling in. People confused, laughing, screenshots making the rounds. Jenna didn't notice right away. She was too busy posting stories of her dream cake tasting. But it was coming. The setup was almost complete. The pieces were all in motion. The venue that didn't exist, the photographer with a grudge, the registry that would slowly become a meme. All I had to do now was wait for the perfect moment, the day everything would fall apart. The wedding was scheduled for June 17th, a Saturday, the kind of warm, early summer day that Instagram brides dream of. Jenna had posted a countdown every single day for the past month, tagging vendors, sharing sneak peeks of her dress, but not too much, as she put it, just enough for hype, and making sure everyone knew it was going to be the event of the year. She'd posted the venue 3 times in the week leading up to it, always with the same caption, "Manifesting Magic," followed by a credit to me. I was the hero brother, the wedding fixer, the real MVP. My name was in the captions, in the comments, even mentioned in a wedding planning blog post she somehow got featured in. All built on a lie. Her followers, 43K at the time, were hyped. So was the family. My mom even left a voicemail, emotional and breathless. "Sweetheart, I'm so proud of you. You really came through for your sister. This wedding is going to be perfect." I almost felt bad. Almost. The night before the wedding, Jenna texted me 3 times. The last one read, "Can't wait to hug you tomorrow. You really saved us. I don't know how I can ever repay you." I didn't reply, because I already had the answer. The ceremony was supposed to start at 4 p.m. sharp. I arrived with Emily at 4:30. Not at the venue. That would have been impossible. We were sitting at a cafe 2 blocks away from the estate Jenna thought she had booked. Jake texted me right at 3:45. "Here. Nothing set up. She's freaking out. They're all in the parking lot." I chuckled into my coffee. By 4:15, chaos had erupted. The estate wasn't even open to the public that day. The gates were closed. The owner, who knew nothing about Jenna or Tyler, had called security when an uninvited wedding party started wandering onto the lawn. I'd anticipated this. A week before, I'd sent an anonymous email to the venue manager from a dummy account, warning them of a rogue influencer who might try to use the grounds without permission. I attached screenshots of Jenna's posts claiming she had the space reserved. They weren't pleased. Security was waiting. At 4:18 p.m., Jenna posted a story, just a selfie with the caption, "Some venue drama, stay tuned LOL." Her tone was still light, performative, still hoping she could spin it. But things unraveled fast. Guests were calling. Vendors were late and confused. Tyler's groomsmen started sweating through their suits. Grandma was wheeled out of the sun and back into the air-conditioned van. The bridesmaids, all 5 of them, stood around holding fake bouquets meant for a ceremony that wasn't happening. And Jenna was panicking. At 4:32, she called me. I didn't answer. She called again and again. Then she texted, "Alex, where are you?" I muted my phone. Emily looked over at me, one eyebrow raised. "She still thinks you're coming? She still thinks I'll fix it." By 5 o'clock, guests had begun leaving. Jake kept texting updates, along with pictures, wide-angle shots of the crowd dispersing, a full 180 from the aesthetic Jenna had planned. The best one? A candid of Jenna standing by the estate gates, holding her dress up off the gravel, mascara smudged, screaming into her phone while Tyler stood behind her, rubbing his temples like a man reconsidering everything. I sent that one to Emily's phone so she could keep it. By 6 o'clock, it was over. No backup venue. No ceremony. No magical reception under twinkling lights. Just 200 people left confused, frustrated, or mildly entertained. Some even posted on social media, calling it the influencer wedding that never was. Hashtag Jen and Tyler trended for the wrong reasons. That night, she posted a black screen to her story with a single sentence. "Respect our privacy at this time." I laughed so hard I nearly cried. The fallout came quickly. Within 48 hours, several of Jenna's sponsors either dropped her or paused their collaborations. A few messaged her privately asking why they were tagged in a fake venue post. One of them, a wedding planning app, actually posted a statement. We were misled by inaccurate information provided by a client. We have ended the partnership effective immediately. Her follower count dropped by nearly 7,000 in a week. But that was just the surface. At home, the real damage was deeper. I knew I'd eventually get the call. It came from my mom. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't crying. She was disappointed. But not in Jenna. In me. I just don't understand how you could let it get this far, Alex, she said. You knew she was struggling. You knew how much this meant to her. I held the phone in silence for a few seconds. Then I asked, did she ever tell you the venue was fake? Well, no, but did she ever correct the lie about me paying for it? She hesitated. That wasn't the point. It was exactly the point. Another pause. Then, quietly, so you did sabotage it. I didn't respond. Not directly. But I said this. She's been lying for years. Stepping on people. Tearing them down. And you never stopped her. You encouraged it. You rewarded it. All I did was make sure the world saw what the rest of us already knew. There was silence on the other end. Then she hung up. Jenna tried to do damage control, of course. She put out a tearful video 2 days later. Sat on the edge of her couch, minimal makeup, soft lighting. She tried to cry through it, talked about being betrayed, targeted, and sabotaged by someone I trusted. She didn't say my name, but she didn't have to. The comments weren't kind. Girl, you faked your own wedding. Influencers are getting out of control. Sounds like karma to me. I never posted anything. Never commented. Never corrected the narrative. I didn't need to. The truth had already spread far enough. A week later, I got a letter in the mail. From Jake. He sent me a printed version of the photo he took. Jenna in full meltdown mode. Mascara streaked. Fists clenched. He'd added a frame and a sticky note that said, "We don't forgive. We don't forget. We frame it." I hung it in my closet. Not out of malice. Just as a reminder. A reminder that silence can be loud. That being the quiet one doesn't mean being weak. And that sometimes, the best revenge isn't fire and fury. It's letting them drown in the mess they made, while you walk away dry. Emily and I moved into our new place the following month. Bigger kitchen, nicer neighborhood, lots of trees. Peaceful. We don't talk about Jenna much anymore. But every now and then, when I see someone like her online, smiling for the camera, selling the dream, living the lie, I remember what it felt like to be forgotten. Then I remember what it felt like to be seen. And I smile. Because I didn't just get revenge. I got free. And that was worth more than any wedding could ever be.